coming back to school with me. We could have done it all so easily.
Teacher, welcome to another episode of Kicking It Old School. Now, I was thinking about how to justify what games I'm putting on as old school, and what I thought is I'm going to make it any games that are older than me. So any games that have, like I was born in 1971, so any games from 1970 or earlier will be, in my opinion, old school. So that's what we're going to do. And this one really surprised me. I got Hi Ho Cherry-O, and I knew it was an older game, but this one actually came out in 1960. So this game is almost 60 years old. So here is Hi Ho Cherry-O, Kicking It Old School. So look at the report card for Hi Ho Cherry-O. I'm going to give the number of players a B. That's because it's a 2 to 4 player game. I think it plays, I guess, equally well with 2 to 4 players. Yeah, so I don't think there's any real difference between the number of players that you have, except that maybe you're just getting more turns, you're getting the game played quicker with less people, but I don't think more people is going to make it any more or less fun. For learning, I'm going to give the game a B. It's a very simple game, but it's meant for very young children, so the learning that's in there, you just have to keep that in mind, that what you are learning is for young kids. So you're going to have things like subitizing, you're going to have counting, basic subtraction, basic addition. So if you're looking for a game for a very young child to do with some very simple skills like that, then this might be one you might want to consider or look into. For fun, I'm going to give the game a D. I think this is the kind of game that, it's 60 years old and it shows. This is a game where you're spinning a spinner and you're doing what it says. There's no strategy, there's no thought, there's no involvement, there's that horrible mechanism of, like, if you get the wrong thing on the spinner, start all over again. And that's just frustrating. To me, I remember playing games like this when I was younger, and I hate that kind of thing. And it's just, this is the kind of, I can see kids, if you play with young kids, I can see them getting into tears when suddenly they have to reset all over again. It's just, I don't think games like this are fun. That's me personally. That's my opinion. If you think that this kind of game is okay, then it might be one you want to consider. But for me, I hate games that do these simple mechanics like that, especially the reset mechanics. Go back to start or anything like that. Awful. For time, I'm going to give the game a B. I think it's a fairly easy game to set up and clean up, and it's not going to take too long to play, unless, of course, you're getting that dreaded return everything and start all over again. If everybody keeps getting that, the game could drag out indefinitely, at which point people are probably just going to want to throw it in the garbage, so then the game's over again too. So I think the game should be a fairly quick game, so for that I'll just give it the B. So looking at the cost for this game, levelup.ca doesn't carry this one, and I'm not going to recommend that they do. But if you look around on like Amazon, I found it for $14. Walmart had it for like $36, which seems unusually high. Maybe that was an aberration there. I found this one in a thrift store, so you might want to look there. I mean, for what you're getting for it, there's a lot of cardboard, the components, the plastic, the cardboard spinner and everything. They do have some, I'll show you here, they have, there's actually a little puzzle in here which comes with a co-op game, which is kind of, I found this really an interesting idea. I'm not sure if it's been in there since the beginning, since the full 60 years of its lifespan. But you get these cute little pieces here. Okay, so you get like oranges. So you get these little orange pieces, and that's what you're using in the game. Now, this too, for cost, is probably what's lowering the idea for me. Like $13, $14 for this game is not a bad price, but the thing is, these pieces, especially when playing with young kids, are going to be so easy to lose and will be lost very quickly, which then renders the game useless. Once you've lost even one of the pieces, that color can't be used anymore, and you have 4 different colors, and if the piece is just going to be lost so quickly. It's just I'm just not a fan. So let me take this to the table and show you how it's played. All right, so what I've set up for here is a 2-player game of Hi Ho Cherry-O. I put in the red cherries here and the green apples, and that's going to be the 2 players who are trying to pick all their fruits before disaster strikes and things stop them from doing what they need to do. So if it's a competitive game, then the first player is going to spin. So say I'm the green player here. I spin the spinner, and I get the dog. Now, what the dog means is that I have to put back two of my fruits out of my basket and put them back onto the bush, but my bush is already full, so I just ignore that. So the bird and the dog are going to make you do that, whereas this is the one I told you about. If you spill your basket, everything goes back up on the tree, because everybody knows when you spill a basket, all the fruit defies gravity and goes back up on the tree. And then the next player, the red player goes, and they get 4. So they get to pick out 4 pieces of fruit, 2, 3, 4. The first player to get all the fruit out of their basket is the winner. So green goes, and green gets the bird, so they again have to take stuff out of their basket, so they're getting nothing. The red player goes, and they get to take 1 more off their tree. And green player goes, and they get to take 4 off. 1, 2, 3, 4. Red player goes, and they have to put 2 back on again. And this is going to go back and forth and back and forth. If the green player suddenly got this, all the fruit goes back on the tree, and it just keeps going. So there's opportunities here for, like I said, for counting, for identifying numbers, for counting as you're removing fruit, for maybe doing some subtraction. Oh, okay, you took 4 fruit off, so how many fruit do you have left now? You started with 10, you took away 4, so now you're left with 6. So it's some basic subtraction. Or you took away 4, oh, now you take away 1 more. How many have you taken away now? You took away 4 plus 1. So you can do that, you can do counting. So there is some educational benefit to this, but like the idea of just this part here, I just hate that with put everything back again. Now, one thing that I thought was interesting as well is you can play this as a cooperative where you want everybody to get all of their fruit off the trees before the bird comes and eats it all. And the way this happens is if you ever get the bird, so say the red player gets the bird, they're going to flip over 1 piece of the puzzle. And then you spin, the other player does their turn, and say the next player also gets a piece of the puzzle. So they flip over another piece. And now you look to the pieces and you see if you can join them, you join them. If you're not, so say we get one and it's this one, okay? And this one does not join in with the puzzle. It stays face up until it can join. So really what you're doing is you have to clear off your trees fully before you get all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 puzzle pieces. If you get all 9 puzzle, if you get the bird 9 times, get 9 bird pieces, you make the puzzle, and then. So in this one, you also have the added benefit of the visual spatial reasoning and things and the fine motor coordination to build the puzzle. So there's some added benefit in that. So like I said, it's got some nice elements in there. It's just if we could just take away this thing with the put everything back thing, or just change up the mechanics a little bit. I like some of the ideas that are here, but overall, yeah, it's just not something that I'm a fan of. And that's how you play Hi-Ho Cheerio. Well, that's going to wrap it up for Hi-Ho Cheerio. If you have any questions about this or have any other recommendations for games you might like to see me kick it in old school, then please leave me a message in the comment section below. If you have any other suggestions for games or things you might like me to talk about on the channel, again, as always, leave me a message in the comment section below. And while you're down there, please do hit like and subscribe. Every little bit helps. But until next time, I'm Craig Thompson with the Board Game Teacher saying thanks for coming to the classroom.
Are you coming back to school?